We have three Ayurvedic practitioners with us today. Dr. Rohit, I call him doctor, he says he's not. Rohit, Jagessar, and I'm sorry, the other, Ramona and Dr. Krishna. Yeah. So okay, I'll turn it over to Rohit now.
Thank you so much, Jeff. This is fine. Namaste. Namaste. We are from Synergy Organic Wellbeing in Sunset Beach, and as Baba embraced all faiths, everyone from all walks of life, so too does Ayurveda, the science of life. Ayurveda came to me from my grandmother. She had come from India to South America, and a long journey indeed. And she came with her mom, and her mom used to teach her about this way of health, not because, well, really there was no other option. There were no doctors and no CVS pharmacies there, so we had to take care of ourselves. There was one very small room that the British had provided for us in the villages of South America, and it had one doctor. They called him a dentist, by the way, and he had one bottle of medicine, and whatever the problem, he gives you that medicine. So my grandma used to send me there and to take that medicine. So I asked her one day, I was growing up, why am I going there when you take care of us? So she said, it's not the medicine that he's giving you, it's the thought. That once you go there, you think you're better, and that starts the healing process. So when we come home, she will then send us to the farm to bring the leaves and the roots, and she will make the medicines, and that's the real therapy. So it's a mind that if you think you're not sick, I guess you're really not sick. And then you take natural therapies that really brings you into a balance. What I have learned from my grandmother and then my mother is that if you're hanging a picture frame on a wall, the first thing you do is you step back and you make sure it's balanced. But for some reason, we don't look at ourselves if we are balanced. So if we take the same approach and balance ourselves, we are as perfect as the picture frame on the wall. And one of the very simplest thing I can tell you I have learned from my grandma and from mom is that breathing. They said that the most important thing in our lives is breathing. We stop doing that, we don't exist. Surprisingly, none of us focus on breathing. And organic energy is what comes from within. And we all have that. Jeff is going to play a video a bit later of a little child experiencing Ayurveda. And when you breathe, if you were to open all the points of the body, you will discover that you could heal yourself. And that is what the body is. It has that intelligence to heal itself. So I'm asking all of you to look within yourself and start your process of healing yourself. So 2 or 3 generations before us were the men and women that built this wonderful country. They made it so perfect. They had no machinery. They had hardly any tools. How did they do it? They did it by being strong in the mind, by being determined, and strong on the body. We are struggling to maintain what they have built. And if we were to go through a few very simple exercises in life, we will discover that we can go back to that time when organic energy was the energy that helped them to build this great country. Ramona will be talking about, she's a celebrity trainer. She'll be going through a few of the exercises with you and some discussions with you. And our main speaker is the chairman of our company, Dr. Krishna. But before that, we have two therapists from Synergy Organic Wellbeing, our Ayurveda spa in Sunset Beach. Sarah, can you come please? And then Meredith will talk for a moment. Anywhere is good.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I am a licensed massage bodywork therapist and I'm working at Synergy Organic Wellbeing. This is Meredith. She is our licensed esthetician. We call ourselves organic therapists. What we do at Synergy Organic Wellbeing is completely different than any practice I've ever worked at. And the most amazing thing is we're getting long-term results for people. And they're getting well, and they don't have to come back. So the whole idea is you awaken your own self-healing. We get you to a state of balance. We are just a tool, a vessel, in order to awaken that energy within you. And then you self-heal. And it's beautiful and it's amazing to be a part of it. So thank you for letting me speak.
She's definitely the speaker. I'm here to talk about the products. I'm actually a medical esthetician, so I've worked in medical spas, and the products are amazing. You're getting the same results without the chemicals, so that's a wonderful thing. All of it's fantastic. It's a great team. We hope to see some of you. And that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. So now Ramona will be having some interactions with you.
Hello everybody. I met some people yesterday. We were in Merbaba and it was a very, very beautiful, peaceful, lovely, loving place. So I heard a lot of you have been to India before, is that true? Please put your hands up if you've been to India. That's fantastic. Usually not that many people have been to India, so we're at home here. I'm a very Western Indian person. I was born in Germany. My parents are now in Canada, well my mother is, and they were actually born in Mumbai via Goa. So my whole journey and the reason I'm here today is I'm discovering Ayurveda for the first time like everybody here and having a chance to drive with Dr. Krishna for 9 hours from New Jersey to here, which turned into 12 hours. Not sure why, but it was really for me a privilege and that's why I did it. So I thought if I get 12 hours with this great man, I'm driving him down there. We met when I was doing my journey, trying to figure out my legacy and go to India and learn about my roots. We met at his Ayurveda Centre. It's called IVAC, and there's one brochure going around. You can take a look at it. It's the most amazing center. I've been to 2 Ayurveda places in my past, but this one really resonated, mostly because of Dr. Krishna. He's an amazing person. He's very knowledgeable, and he put me in my place many times on this trip. Which is a good thing because I think we all are very westernized in our ways and really the East has a lot to offer us. I'm discovering my parents' past. My father died this summer and I was there when he when he left his body. I was the only one in the room and I told him I would look after my mother. And I also knew my journey in my life is to find out my Indian roots. So I'm spending a lot of time in India. Fitness is growing in India. Before I get into that, I'm a trainer in California. I've worked with lots of celebrities. My last person I worked with was Michael Weatherly. He's the actor on Bull. Do you know that show? Anyway, NCIS. Okay.
Yeah.
Before that, I worked with some actors on a movie called 50 Shades of Grey. We don't need to talk about that one. Before that, I worked with Jessica Alba. I've worked with Halle Berry. So I'm very much about the physical body and getting you into shape for the role. But now I'm discovering at 56 that we're so much more than that. And I'm learning about Ayurveda, so I can go back to Hollywood or wherever I am and really impart that it's not just about how we look. It's really about how long we stay healthy, how long we give love to other people, and that's really what I'm learning about Ayurveda. It's about our ojas. Can I say that right? Our ojas. Anybody know what that is?
Ojas is the highest product of digestion, and it's responsible for reproduction, male or female, and it gives luster to the body.
Yes, and according to a few things I've learned, it's also our vitality, our virility, our energy, our immunity. It's everything. And I look at my 83-year-old mother who teaches Zumba and senior fitness all around Brockville, Canada, where she is right now, 4 days a week, and I think you have a lot of ojas, Mom. I think it's just our love of life, and I know that she gets that bank of ojas filled because she gives. She gives so much. She gives unconditionally, and that's the thing that I really felt at Meher Baba. There was a lot of that there. And it'd be great to take that out into the real world and keep doing that, and everybody feels that, and I think we would be a much, filled up place. So I'm not going to take too much time because I know the most important man in the room is Dr. Krishna. I've had a great time speaking with him. He has so much knowledge. But we were practicing this one exercise that I'm going to show you. If you have any questions about any other exercise things, I'm here at the end, so I can definitely help you with that. But this one exercise, I'm going to have, do you want to demonstrate with me? In fact, we can all try it because it's super easy. So I'm going to make you stand up. I know we all hate that. But you're not going to have to do push-ups or sit-ups. You're just going to, we're going to sit on our chair and we're going to stand back up. Now that's super easy, but I'm going to add an Ayurveda twist to it.
Let's bring Dr. Krishna.
Yeah, Dr. Krishna will explain because he's really good. He can actually do this in his sleep. So, first of all, this is the Hollywood way you do this exercise. You're going to stand in front of your chair, okay, and we're going to see if we can sit down and stand up without bending over our knees where our knees start aching. We want to sit down and back with our butts, and actually not use too much of our knees. So go ahead, you can keep your hands out for balance, and then push into your heels when you stand up. So when you stand up, use those heels, better. So we want to push into the heels of and use the back of our legs to stand instead of our quads and our knees. So try a couple of those, and that'll make a little bit of a difference. But my dad, before he passed away, he couldn't do sitting down in a chair and standing up, and he was the same age as my mother. And I looked at them and I went, what happened? Something happened. You have to try to keep your body active, and your legs are the most important thing, I think. Now we're going to add this Ayurveda technique called power yoga, super yoga.
Well, it has become a new thing in the Western countries, and a lot of schools in the United States now have started this. It's called power yoga, super yoga, but it was known for thousands of years in our culture. And whenever we did something wrong in the school, the teacher would ask us to do this. And I will show that if you can hold the mic.
Come over here. I'll hold the mic and you can crack it.
Now what you normally do is you have to hold your earlobe like this. It's the thumb in the back and the fingers like this. Hold it tight and pull it until it hurts a little bit. And then normally you cross your arms like this because our cerebral connections are connected right to the left and left to the right like this. So you put your right arm coming to the front, okay? Right arm coming to the front, and hold your earlobe real tight and pull it. And then you do sit-ups or squatting. Those who are sitting in the chair, they can do like this. easy for them. But those who can do independently, like they can do like this. Now, it sounds really funny, but they have done a lot of research on this, and it has been very well proven. For the children, it increases their IQ, and they perform very well in classes. And for the elderly people, it helps slow down the dementia, and those who have dementia developing, they will do better. So it's an amazing, simple thing. It was in our tradition for thousands of years, and it was given to us as a punishment. Now it has become a real wonderful thing, and it's getting very popular. And they've done a lot of studies and published these studies, and it really works apparently.
How often do you have to do it to really?
Oh, you can do that a couple of times.
Depends how much punishment you want.
2-3 times, as many times as you want, you can do. There's no like you have to do only this much, but at least 10 times minimum. Yeah.
Whenever she doesn't do homework.
No, that used to be the punishment. Whenever we made a lot of monkey business in the class or didn't do homework, the teacher would make us do this.
I'm going to let Dr. Krishna continue so he gets your full...
Oh, okay. Give you a little bit of a background of mine. I was born in India. I was very deeply involved in my spiritual journey when I was 10 years old. And I met my spiritual master when I was 13 years old. And when I joined the medical school, it was 1 year late because I was underage. I couldn't join the medical school. So I spent that 1 year at my master's house. And I was very closely associated with him for 6 years. One day he told me that, Krishna, you have some mission to do. Ayurveda has suffered 8 centuries of decline during the Mughal rule and then the colonial rule, British colonial rule. Now it has to come forward in the forefront of the modern medicine, but it has to catch up 8 centuries of stagnation. So it has to have a new paradigm shift, and it has to go at a supersonic speed. And I was only 16 years old at that time, and I said, how do I do this? Tell me what to do. At this time I had already decided to go to the modern medicine, study modern medicine. He said, you study modern medicine, Ayurveda will come to you, at some time you will do this. So I studied modern medicine. I became a pediatric anesthesiologist. I practiced in this country for nearly 30 years. Then slowly the mind started changing. I had basically forgotten that whole incident, whatever my master had told. Then I went back to India and I started this Ayurveda Centre. It's on 25 acres in Mysore. I have one brochure there and we have a website, you can all look at it. Anyway, now it was about 18 years ago we started that. It has become quite famous. We get people from over 65 countries. And now we plan to start something in America. So we just started a small beginning at Sunset Beach. And that is the overall picture of this, my journey into this. Now today I want to give you a brief account on what is Ayurveda and how the Ayurvedic treatments work. Before I start my speech, I would like to play a 5-minute video, and at the end I'll play another 6-minute video. In between I'll do the talking. This video is very interesting. You just watch and I'll explain the importance of why I showed this video later on. Just if we can play the video, please. There are 2 pieces actually. It's a 5-minute video total. The Ayurveda starts even before the conception. There's a huge amount of information is there in Ayurveda. Now the baby, from the moment the baby is born, there are treatments like this, the massage. It is given using pure ghee. Anybody know ghee? Okay, yeah. It's a pure organic cow's ghee they use, and they give the massage for about half an hour to 45 minutes, then wrap the child, don't give shower or anything, and then they put the baby to bed. And the babies really sleep well. What it does is it will open a lot of spiritual centers at a very early age, and it is permanently open, and whenever the child grows up and starts a spiritual path, it will become very wonderful for the child, and it's easy. And not only that, it will have many other benefits in terms of giving a tremendous, wonderful bondage between mom and the baby, or the father and the baby, whoever gives the massage. And we grew up like that. I grew up like that. My mom used to give the massage to me, which I don't remember, but what I remember is my mom teaching me how to do that. And we were trying to have a baby here today so that I could demonstrate, so then I got just a video. But if we were to do in real life, every mom wants to do this, every grandma wants to do this, because it's such a joy to give massage to a baby. Well, anyway, coming back to my talk today, I'm going to give you some idea what these Ayurvedic treatments do to us, and at what levels they work on us, and the importance of that. We have many Ayurvedic treatments, so they are basically divided into detoxifying treatments, they are called panchakarma, and rejuvenative treatments. After you detoxify, you rejuvenate. So those are basically the two segments of the Ayurvedic treatments. But the philosophy of Ayurveda and yoga, because they are two sides of the same coin, is to keep the body and mind in perfect harmony, so it is conducive to the realization of the self. So that is the final goal of Ayurveda. It is one of the subdivisions of the Vedas. We have our ancient scriptures. So it dates back to about 5,000 years old. It has got about 8 subspecialties in there, like pediatrics, ophthalmology, surgery, toxicology, forensic medicine, pharmacology, like that. So now I will just give you the detail of the thing. We exist in several layers. So this is what the different layers are, the 5 layers. I have the English version of it. The bottom one is in the Sanskrit part of it, and that is the English version of it. The first layer is our material body, that is the physical body. And underneath that is called pranamaya, or the life force, or the energy body. And from there is the mental sheath, which is considered as a great barrier, because once you pass through that, you enter into the realm of spirituality on a permanent basis. After that is the intellect, or the discriminating faculty, and then the bliss. Once you come to that state, you will always be in a state of witnessing, and you are in a blissful state. And you have to pass even beyond that to be completely immersed in the self, and you become the self. So that's the 5 layers we exist in. Next slide. We have 3 words there, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. The entire universe is made out of 5 elements: the space, air, fire, water, and earth. So these are the principles. These principles in combination become Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and they regulate all our physiology, psychology in us. So those are, they have different characters, and you can identify the different constitutions of the individual and all. That is the basis of Ayurvedic treatments. I'm just going to give you an overall concept of this. I'm not going into the detail because just to talk on Vata, Pitta, Kapha, it will probably take several days. So this is sufficient as of now. So we'll go to the next slide. And I would like to keep about 20 minutes for discussion at the end. I have taken this called Abhyanga, or the body massage, as a typical one to explain how the Ayurvedic treatments work. There are many treatments, but I've just taken this as a base to explain. An Abhyanga is a synchronized body massage, the 2 people working on the body on either side. It's a very pleasurable thing. And how it does it, see, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Nadis, Vayus, and Srotas. So these are the things I need to, I will be using this. Nadis and Vayus and Srotas. The Srotas are the various channels. It could be a blood vessel, it could be a nerve fiber, it could be GI system, it could be urination, it could be menstruation. All these where the things move is called Srotas. They are called channels. Through the channels, these Vayus. Vayus are the moving factor, or the Vata, which I had said in the second slide. That is, the moving factor is the Vayu. That needs to be, there are many types of Vayus, but they all have to be in perfect order for making all these things move in those channels. So that is the principle of the Ayurveda. And Nadis are the ones where you can see, those are like a sensors. You can see whether there is something is moving, obstructed, or what is happening. You know, like in a metro station, if one train leaves, everywhere it is understood in different stations, okay, this train has left, it's going there, it's in order of this and that. So that sensor, they are called nadis. Through Abhyanga, the physical sheath is purified, allowing the energy sheath to begin purifying the mental sheath. See, Annamaya, or the physical body, is the first sheath that gets purified, and it makes in the energy sheath, and then to the mental sheath, it starts cleaning the srotas, all the channels. Next slide, please. So I have already said what is the srotas and what the vayu. The chakras. The chakras are basically the concentration of these nadis. They are the energy centers in our body. They start from the area of the anus level, or at the bottom of the sacrum, going all the way up to the crown. There are 7 chakras. They are the energy centers. They have to be clean and open for all the energies in our body to move. They are like post offices. All the treatments or anything we do, maybe it is aromatherapy, light therapy, energy therapy, or color therapy, or medicine, whatever we give, they have to be distributed from these energy channels. And each chakra governs the organs in and around that chakra, or the energy center. You can imagine that chakra has a frequency and the organ has a frequency, and they have to be in balance. If they go out of balance, then there is a disease. So our purpose is to bring this harmony back into the original normal balance. Next, please. The coherence and sanctity of the heart field, or the manomaya, the third layer, or the subtle energy bodies, are critical for the health, well-being, and spiritual process of the individual. So we have to bring everything into balance, then only a person feels healthy, both inside, physically, and spiritually, and in all dimensions. A person has to feel healthy. You have to have all this energy flowing perfectly in the body. Next, please. The goal of the science of Ayurveda and yoga and Ayurvedic treatments is to support and balance the subtle bodies, so that when an individual begins their spiritual life, no matter what the discipline or religion, success will be assured. So it doesn't matter, as Baba has said, there is no religion here, it's only spirituality. Anybody can come and practice whatever they believe in, true spiritual. So the Ayurvedic philosophy is the same way. As long as the energy moves in our body in a proper way, without any obstruction, that is conducive to the spiritual life. What does yoga do? Each posture carries a specific vibrational frequency designed to direct or redirect the subtle energy and pure consciousness fully and effectively through the 5 sheaths. Now we have shown you what are the 5 sheaths. What the yoga does is, it has certain vibrational frequency. So by doing these postures, wherever there is an obstruction, it is removed, and it makes it easy for the energy to flow. So that is the main purpose of the yoga. And whenever the body goes out of balance in such a way that you need certain medicines or certain treatments and all, that is where the Ayurveda comes into. Otherwise, yoga is a daily practice to keep this thing going in a normal, harmonious way, just like, we do the cleansing or cleaning the house every day. The same way the yoga is prescribed. Of course, there are many different types of yoga postures based on the individual's problems or where the blockage is and all those things. So that is, it comes in the actual treatment or the overall protocol what we established for an individual. So what is the process? The yoga, here I just mentioned Abhyanga or any other Ayurvedic treatment. What does it do? It makes the body healthy enough to support optimal flow and movement of subtle energy through it. And then emotions free up their attachments to special pleasures and insecurity. Then mind gives up its need to control. The mind, the center of the mind's, the Manomaya Kosha, the barrier, is the third chakra, that is, they call it a solar plexus. So that is the most difficult barrier to cross. Once that is crossed, you get into the spiritual realm and the spiritual path becomes very easy. Instead of the brain, which is the center of the ego, the heart reigns, calls all shots, and becomes the thinker of the thoughts and the success. So why, as I said, thinker of the thought and thinker and the thought are the same. Either you are thinking and you become the thought at that time, but when you start observing the thought, you become the thinker. So thinker and the thought are the same. To attain that level is the final achievement, and that is the goal of the yoga and the Ayurveda, and the success is reached. Next, please. So what are the benefits of an Abhyanga or a full body Ayurvedic massage? It increases circulation moves the lymph, breaks up any scar tissues, relieves muscle tension, activate flow of Vata, Pitta and Kapha, so it balances Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Through the 16, there are 16 channels, the srotas which I mentioned earlier. It makes the energy flow there without any obstructions. And there are what you call dhatus. Dhatus are like our body tissues. It is the plasma, the blood, the muscle, the adipose tissue, the bone, and the brain tissue. And the final one is the shukra, that is in men, it is the final essence, the male essence, the semen. You can relate that to the testosterone. And in female, you can relate that to the estrogen. Next one, please. So what does the Abhyanga, the body massage, does at the pranamaya, that is the energy sheath, which is this second sheath. Intricacy of each stroke clears any obstruction for the movement of energy. So when you do the body massage, it is very important to know the physiology and anatomy and also the various energy centers. So the one we have developed, I personally got involved in that because I was also a doctor and I had the knowledge of the Ayurveda and various other things which my master has taught. So we have incorporated various the energy center. They are called marma points in Ayurveda. In other culture, they call it acupressure, shiatsu, different names are there. But those are called energy centers. By pressing those points or massaging those points, you release the obstruction, whether it is physical or emotional obstruction. And also it is very common to see many times, especially the Westerners, they have a tendency to hold their emotions. When they come to our center and when they are so lovingly touched and massaged, it's very common to see the Westerners cry. Their tears come out of them very, very easily and a lot of emotions are released. The Indus Valley, our center in India, and Synergy Organic Wellbeing of Sunset Beach in North Carolina, we have started, thoughtfully designed these strokes to uniquely move the subtle energy through the body. So there is a lot of thought has gone behind the way we do our massage strokes. We developed that. We're very happy to provide that whoever come there. Prana, the life force, starts flowing freely through the channels. Once this starts happening, the person starts feeling better. Emotionally also, and also physically also. See, the lot of the massages which are done in regular spas or something, many times they probably use some creams or lotions and things like that. They do have benefit, but the benefit doesn't last very long. But when the Ayurvedic massage is done, the benefit can last up to 30 days because it has a deep, profound effect on releasing a lot of blockages both at the mental level and at the physical level. Next one, please. This word, a lot of you might have heard, Kundalini. It is the dormant energy stored at the root chakra, which is at the sacral level. The purpose of Ayurvedic treatments or any meditation or yoga, all is to awaken this dormant energy at this root level or the root chakra, to make it go up and then reach all the way to the crown chakra. That is when the enlightenment takes place. But there is one barrier which is at the third chakra, the Manipura chakra they call it. It is also called the Manomaya or the mind level. That is a great barrier because every time it wakes up, feels good or this or that, and then it gets released and it goes back, comes up, goes back, comes up, goes back. So the Kundalini awakening is a particular method. It's one of the 4 methods of a spiritual journey. In that, what the Guru or the Master teaches is how to push it through that third chakra or the Manomaya chakra and to go up there. Once it goes up there, then the spiritual path becomes much easier. And Ayurvedic treatments in the yoga, they're not only at the physical level, but they work at all these levels. Next one, please. These chakras, they have not been described in relation to the anatomy of our body. So recently there have been some attempts to show where they may be corresponding to the body. They correspond to glands and nerve plexus, these energy centers. And also the lower chakras regulate mainly the physical functions. The first 3 chakras, they mainly regulate the physical functions, and the upper chakras regulate spiritual and emotional experiences and feelings. As once it passes through the third chakra, it is called the upper chakras. Next one, please. This I will skip. No, let me see. Okay, these chakras, where how the mind operates when they are in each chakra. So just a very brief description. The first chakra, it is in the perineal region or the anal region. The element of that is the earth, and it is the seat of the Kundalini where it is dormant. And the second one is called Swadhisthana. It is at the genital region, little higher up in this area, and the element is the water, and it is mainly controls the reproduction part. Manipura is the navel or the solar plexus, and it's the fire element, and its connection to the cosmos, or it's opening up into the wider horizon. And then the Anahata, which is the heart chakra, it's the air element, and its connection is to pure consciousness. Vishuddha is at the throat level, and its connection is between mind and body. See, that's why when we talk about balancing this alternative therapy, the Ayurveda and all, its mind-body medicine, because we need to elevate the individual's consciousness to that level and beyond that level. And Ajna is between they call it third eye. That's when the mind reaches there, the person only has a pure witnessing qualities. He becomes totally non-judgmental. And when the mind reaches beyond that to the crown, that's a pure enlightenment, and it is an indescribable thing. Individuality has disappeared and there is no more division. That is the full enlightenment. Next, please. So now what is the relation between Abhyanga and the chakras? If the srotas or the channels are blocked due to stress and various lifestyles, the prana cannot move normally through the chakras. So there are blockages. Abhyanga, this body massage, Ayurvedic massage, helps remove this block. Example, blockage of apana. I'm giving you a few examples. There are 2 types of bodies. One is apana, which pulls you down, and it's the prana, which pulls you up. Now let us say there is a blockage of apana. The person will have difficulty in conceiving the child, there's impotency, constipation. Now, prana and udana blockage, there are 5 types of pranas, and udana is one of them. When the prana and the udana are blocked, there is a blockage of clarity of thought, the lack of mental stability, these kind of things happen. So in Ayurveda, what we do is how we diagnose is when the person comes in, we have to do a detailed pulse reading. In the pulse reading, it will show whether the vata, pitta, the kapha are out of balance, and then at a deeper level of pulse reading, it will tell you there are 5 subdivisions for each, vata, pitta and kapha, which are out of balance. And once you understand that and the interaction between them is out of balance, and then you know what to do and how to bring that into balance. That is basically how the Ayurvedic treatments work. Next one, please. This is the infant massage. It's in the prone position. See, the Ayurvedic lifestyle begins in our culture from the very beginning. Even during the pregnancy, there are so many things they do which is very Ayurvedic. And after the baby is born, we do all these massages and other things for the baby, the bondage between the parent and the child, and also removing of the blockage will take place. And it just goes on and on and on throughout the life. There are various other things they do throughout the life as a part of the Ayurvedic lifestyle. Next one. Abhyanga and the Manomaya Kosha, the third chakra, is if the upward moving vayus are not balanced, it affects the mental function. Phonetic belief system, phonetic belief systems, defensive behavior, dangerous to subtle body and spiritual process. See, this is what happens when the lower chakras are overactive and they cannot pass through this barrier. These kind of beliefs will come to the person. So if you see a person who has all these kind of behavior, you know what level they are operating. It causes reactive emotions in the emotional cortex, the limbic system. This emotional constriction creates desires. They are called vasanas or samskaras. Next one, please. It may carry through several lifetimes. You know, this kind of behavior, if it is not properly opened up and cleansed up, it may go through several lifetimes. It determines the patterns of behavior, and it is a great barrier sheath. That Manomaya sheath or the mind sheath is the great barrier sheath. That's why the various imprints or the stored memories in our mind, they are called karmas or the karmic imprints. That's what determines what we are going to be in the next one, because the mind has a longer shelf life than the body, which is a physical body, which falls off, and the mind carries on and it manufactures another body to express its karmic imprints. There are 3 types of mental imprints, the karmic imprints are there. One is called the prarabdha, or the ones we carry from the past. And then there is one called sanchita, that means what we are accumulating now through our actions. And the other one is the one to come in the future, whatever we are going to do. As human beings, we are the only ones, we have the free will. If we can exercise our free will, we can stop the accumulation of the sanchita and the agamika karmas, or the karmic imprints, and only the ones we have been carrying, that has to be unloaded somehow. There are many ways of doing that. And once that is done, there are no more karmic imprints, or the stored memory. When we don't have any stored memory, that is called enlightenment. You have realized the truth, and then you have no more reason to manufacture another body. That is why they call this person is liberated or enlightened, and that is what it is. So our free will has to be exercised correctly to remove the karmic imprints, so we don't do that. So basically we are all here now because we have brought enough imprints from the past. So our body is nothing but the wound of the mind. Longer they remain in place, the deeper the canyon of the, please, engagement. it's more difficult to remove, the system needs to be disarmed. So these are all part of the Ayurvedic lifestyle and the wisdom. I've just codified into some smaller sentences and words. Next one, please. These mental imprints and the associated patterns of behavior will stay in place for lifetimes unless corrective measures are taken. What is that corrective measure? Our free will. Next one, please. So now I'll summarize the whole thing. So the stress could be physical, mental. So all diseases have the root cause in the stress of some type of stress. It causes constricted muscles, causes blocking of the channels, stagnate the functions of Vata, Pitta and Kapha, compromises the movement of the Vayus. There are 10 different types of Vayus, which I didn't go into detail because they're all Sanskrit names and it will be too much of thing to talk in such a small period of time. But there are 10 different types of Vayus. It affects the physical and energy sheath, disharmony in the mental sheath, creates vasanas or the karmic impressions, sets in motion a vicious cycle of imbalanced body and mind and causes various physical and mental illnesses. So now we have analyzed why we do go through various sufferings in life, whether mental or physical or whatever. So there is a complete anatomical dissection of our existence through Ayurveda, and we understand how to correct that, and that is the whole philosophy and principle of Ayurveda. So it's 5 years of study of Ayurveda and many years of practice has been condensed to some 25 minutes of class. So please excuse me if I have confused any of you or used any complicated words, but try to do the best. Is there any more? I think it's over. Oh, this I mentioned in the beginning. There are 2 basic types of treatment. There's a Panchakarma. It's 5 different ways of detoxifying the accumulated toxins in the body and mind. And these are the treatments, and the bottom one is the rejuvenative treatments. After you cleanse the body and mind, these are the rejuvenative treatments. And in between there's this Kaya Kalpa, Bhyanga, Shirodhara. Those are some of the treatments I mentioned, but there are more than that. There are 30, 40 different types of Ayurvedic treatments are there. And in Mysore, we are capable and we do all of those treatments in a very systematic way. And also it is our culture, there is no real difficulty in doing those treatments or getting the herbs. But bringing it to America is not that easy because there are a lot of regulations and a lot of difficulties, training. I tried to get one person to come here and train, but visa was refused. So the difficulties are there, but we have worked out a lot of things whereby we can do majority of the Ayurvedic treatments and teach the lifestyles to the Americans here or any in the Western country. So we're trying, and Rohit has been working day and night to solve all these problems, and we have solved many of those problems, and we are on our way to expansion and big success, hopefully, yes. Well, this is the goals of our center in India and also our center here in North Carolina. Provide Ayurveda and yoga therapies with techniques which are steeped in tradition, unravel stressors on both the subtle and physical levels that will effectively put you on the road to permanent spiritual and physical well-being. See, Baba Center is a pure spiritual center, and the Ayurveda goal is to support that kind of a lifestyle, and we hope we can all work together for the betterment of humanity. Okay. Yes, please.
Yes, Sarah mentioned in the beginning that there's a point at which these treatments stops, where one no longer needs the treatment. How long does that process take? And what are the contingencies that determines that?
Treatment is to bring the body and mind to balance. Once the Ayurveda expert knows that the imbalanced situation has been brought to balance, then there is the lifestyle, Ayurvedic lifestyle can continue. But no matter what you do, the imbalance will start taking place because it is just the nature of the body, because we keep aging, the environmental things are there, our various habits are there, exposure to so many types of pollutants are there. So there is a constant war between balancing and imbalancing takes place. So whenever it goes out of balance, it needs to be taken care of. Otherwise, a good Ayurvedic lifestyle can manage for quite some time, but as one gets older or environment changes or something happens, then they need the treatment. Otherwise, when they first come, if there is an imbalance, it needs to be balanced. Did I answer?
Yes.
Okay.
What about diets and foods you consume based on your situation? Is that also a factor in your treatments?
Yes. See, each person, we have to determine what is their constitution, whether it is Vata, Pitta, or the Kapha constitution. Whatever that predominant constitution, that is the one which is more likely to go out of balance. So that person has to understand what is the Pitta diet, Kapha diet, Vata diet, and what is the right diet for that person. And also what is the diet which is most suitable at a particular season. It changes from season to season and at different age level. So once the person has a detailed consultation with an expert, Ayurvedic expert, first they determine the constitution, then they can give you a list of all the foods which are good or not so good, which you should avoid or take minimal quantity and like that. And of course the food is again, not only they are categorized into Vata, Pitta, Kapha, there are 6 different tastes in the food. They also have to be properly balanced because some tastes may aggravate one of these doshas or one taste may bring down or balance the dosha. So there is a complete calculation has to be made based on the individual. Yeah. Yes, please.
I'm from Savannah, and from the year 2000 till about 2007, we had a Chopra Center. So Deepak Chopra came to speak in a mind-body lecture series, and he and the CEO and the marketing guy from the hospital that we have, one of the hospitals that we have there, made a deal, and a lot of people went out and were trained at the Chopra Center. And Deepak really wanted an integrative medicine center where physicians referred. So it's my understanding that you were trained as a Western physician and then went back to India, is that right?
Correct.
So what is your hope in is it Sun City or
Sunset Beach.
What is your feeling? So no physicians referred in Savannah. We had the Ayurvedic Center with all the treatments and a beautiful yoga center, and no physicians in Savannah referred. So maybe things have changed. That was 2007. What is your expectation for your referral source?
Very good question. I know Deepak Chopra from the time he joined the Maharshi's people, and then he did all these things, and he was at first at a Sharp Memorial Hospital in San Diego, where I was doing obstetrical anesthesia there. So I know him all the way, and I know him personally also. My brother-in-law actually handles all his finances. He has an investment group. I know him well. Unfortunately, what happened was there is a huge conflict between the American Medical Association or the established system, so-called, in the pharmaceutical industry and the physicians, and not only in Savannah, even at Sharp, there's the same problem, so I had to close it down. So we are not interested, or we are not at this time, not going on a head-on collision with the established medical system or the pharmaceutical industry. We are just going to the people, and we are just telling who we are and what it is and what we can do. So whoever wants to come to us, and we will do the best we can. And I have already gone back. That's one of the main reasons why I went back to India, was because of that. Because I saw what happened to Deepak Chopra, and I did not want a war here. I went to my own turf and my own territory where it was not a war. It was much easier, although I had other issues, but none of those issues. So I established there. I have a fully established center. I can always go back and stay there. But now I want to bring it slowly to this country in a way it is acceptable to the country. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good not to have the expectation.
Right.
I had the privilege of directing the center for the last 2 years, and I went to meet Deepak and David Simon, and when David Simon shook my hand, he said, "That relationship just won't die, will it?" You know, the relationship between the Western, and which was not a very warm greeting for me coming in at this, but we just considered that it was going to be a wellness center and not, but it was an interesting experience dealing with their disappointment and then still offering the gift of Ayurveda to those who were willing to receive it.
Right. You know, when I first started my practice in this country, I was in '78. There was no such thing as any alternative medicine, complementary medicine, and all these things were there. And slowly it all started. It was first called as alternative medicine, then it was called as complementary medicine, now integrative medicine. All these names have changed over the years. But it all happened because of the pressure from the public rather than from the doctors themselves. When the public started saying, we had enough of this, we had enough of this polypharmacy, we had enough of this, and ultimately the cost is so high and we're not getting any benefit. The pain is still there, this is there, that is there. We need something different. And here and there some alternative system, the Chinese medicine came, that came, this came, slowly people started putting pressure. Then the doctors started looking at it. But still there is a lot of resistance. But someday it will go away, because truth is always the truth. The Ayurveda, see, I have seen both sides of the fence. And in fact, I asked my guru, why are you asking me to go and study modern medicine when you are telling me all about Ayurveda, and I was expecting that you would tell me to study Ayurveda. He said, no, you first go to the enemy territory. You first see what is all in there. Then only you will know better. Then you can do a better job. Ayurveda will come to you when it is needed, he said.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So if someone was to come to your clinic, what would they expect?
Pardon?
The first time. Come to the clinic in Sunset. What would be the process?
Oh, they would come, we will receive them and ask them what is their problem, and we will have a detailed talk, and based on the problem, we will have to start proceeding, what to do. But remember, we are not full-fledged Ayurveda clinic at Sunset Beach yet, because we started in September when the low season started here. And we've been working on various issues of bringing Ayurveda here. First of all, bringing the products, bringing the trained therapists, bringing an Ayurveda doctor. All these issues are there. So we're trying to address all these issues one by one. In the meantime, we have started some of the basic therapies. Now, if somebody has a lot of health problems, the pain, things like that, we have very good treatment we can give. Yeah.
Now, on their massage tables, one thing I find when I go to an alternative person, is they can't get me on the table because I'm down here and I can't stand. So they can't get me on the table. So anyway, I just thought I'd let you know.
We can
doesn't work, right?
Well, you see, I don't know exactly all the problems you have.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't stand. So
yeah, I understand. But we may have to lift you up.
Okay.
So you would be accommodated according to your individual needs. When you come into our clinic, the first step is a consultation, and every treatment is specifically catered to your individual needs. So but we'd come up with a treatment plan based on your goals, what you need, and then we would go from there. But we could definitely accommodate doing massage for you at Sunset Beach.
Oh, okay.
I can get you on the table. Yeah, we could definitely work with you, and our treatments are not. You don't have to be laying in a certain position to receive a treatment. You can be sitting up, you can be laying down, we put you on your side. You can receive treatment any position that you need to be in.
We have a multifaceted talent.
Yeah, or they might, or you can't get up the steps. Okay, never mind.
Accessibility is her issue. Yeah. So
We don't have any stairs. No stairs.
Okay, okay.
Actually, Jonathan had some therapies. Maybe he can share that experience. Yeah.
If you would like.
Sure.
I mean, we get people from all backgrounds. People who have tried a lot of other therapies, been to chiropractors for 10 years, regular Western practitioners for 10, 20 years. And it's amazing the results that we get in 5, 7 sessions. So I can honestly say that from experience because I'm doing the work and I'm seeing it happen.
I work in maternal child health and with babies, and I deliver and work with midwives all over the country. And we just had a big conference here last year, Midwifery Today magazine, the ones that do the home birth. We have, we do, and so I'm really interested in the massage and the infant and the child. And are you doing babies there? Because I have women that come to me right now. I just had a delivery the other day, and sometimes we send them to the chiropractors for adjustments because we know, especially our hospital birth babies, they don't come out quite right. You know, they're laying on the table and the baby doesn't get to move the way they're supposed to. And I know that massage is very powerful for them. And I was just watching this thinking, yeah, somewhere to send the baby and the mom to learn how. So, massage therapist, do you do babies, and how long have you been doing it?
I have been trained in infant and prenatal massage.
Ayurvedic infant and prenatal, because we do Western infant massage. I mean, we have 2 trainers in that, but do you do an Ayurvedic? Do you do an Ayurvedic process with the babies?
She can do that.
She can do that now.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, I mean, how about children that are having issues? I mean, just children in themselves coming to get your massage. Are we working with children that have lots of children in this area, in the country, that have all kinds of mental, developmental, emotional, psychological?
Yeah, we have therapies for that.
Are you? Yeah.
First class, absolutely.
Perfect.
We have done for a 26-year-old girl. She had lots of migraine, depression, anxiety, a lot of issues since she was 16. And after the first therapy, she started to come around. So I give her a tablet. I said, keep it in your bag. Just know that you have it, but your challenge is not to use it. She said, okay. I don't think I will keep it in my bag because I love popping them. So I said, okay. 3 days later she came. She usually had a migraine every 4 to 5 days. She said, I still got it. The migraine was coming. And what you taught me, I did it, it went away. This is now 4th month. It's gone completely. And she's now working. She's in real estate, a very tough industry. She is amazing. By the way, she lost 10 pounds the first month as well. Yeah. I don't know how that happened.
Well, thank you. Namaste.